Like just to have the awareness of the intensity level of a playoff game, and everything has to be done better. And, you have a chance to lock in and focus on exactly what needs to be done. I think everything matters, so it's hard to say what someone else does, like you only know what goes on in your building. So that's what you lock into, and I think you're building the habits that you need to play your best in the end. And, sometimes I think things can be, taken out of context. When I broke into the league, I worked under an unbelievable coach, and Bill Musselman, and we won 30 games, and he was unbelievable. But people would say, well, you won 30 games. We probably should have won 15. He got the absolute most out of that talent in our roster. And I think sometimes you could look at a team and maybe they have 25 more points more talent and they're winning by 2, so who's done the better job? We've got it down pretty good. We know the format that we like to use. So it's everyone putting a lot of time in, and we have 2 advanced guys that split it up and do a good job of and they start their work early, so we're not caught at the end. And I think the workload has increased because obviously the play-in has added a lot more to it. So, but you have to be prepared. Usually this time of the year, like the focus is great, but just and that's why I say, like, knowing your opponent better than they know you is such an important part of winning, and we try to hammer that home all season long, so that when you get here, you understand why. Like, okay, that's that's a habit that you build. And oftentimes, it's one play that's the difference between winning and losing, and it's a mental mistake right now could be the difference between moving on and going home. So your concentration level is so important. Using good judgment is so important. Communicating both offensively and defensively is important. All those things matter. It's just getting the most out of your team, like whatever that is. And I think you only get satisfaction from knowing that you did everything you possibly could to get the most out of your team. And once you do that, that's all you can do. So wherever the chips fall, that's where they fall. But I never have regrets because I know what I'm putting into it each and every day. An in-season trade is that's a challenge in itself. But when then you factor in, injuries and minutes restrictions. So now you got different combinations too. So it's hard for them to develop rhythm. And then there's certain things you can run with certain people, and maybe they're not as effective with others. So you're trying to. It's not just one guy. It's the group that. So you always have to lock in to what's best for the group. You can't prioritize. Well, this might be best for him, but it's not best for the group right now.
Does this week look any different for Bojan, given that he's got?
He's played. I love the way he's playing. So he's each game he's gotten more rhythm. And I think it's a lot of it has to do. Like now you're getting your players back too. Yeah. So it's there's some continuity to it. When you look at the staffs today, it's great. Like it's in your video departments. They're also player development guys, so that's been, an added feature. So they're not only doing that, but they're all encompassing. They're young assistant coaches, and they do everything from game planning to video, player development. They're here around the clock. Players come back at night. There's people that can work with them, and they're doing special projects all the time. So it's great. It's and it's a great way for them to develop as well. So I think when you look at how big the staffs are, and that's why you can assign 2 guys could be with this team, 2 guys could be with that team, and you can cover a lot of ground. Before it was you had one guy, and maybe you designated one assistant, and now there's not only player development guys, there's a lot more assistant coaches as well. So it's and I think as staffs grow, it's there's more managing that goes on too. There's certain things that we look at that I think there's so many of them. I think you have to identify what you think is important for you, and so it's a big part of. We have 2 analytics guys that work for us as well. So that's another big part. We also utilize Synergy, and we utilize Elias as well. So we have, I love numbers, so the more we get, the better.